Good morning and welcome to KZSC News, local news from the Monterey Bay.
According to the Santa Cruz Sentinel, the Bay Area traffic dilemma is so bad that people are considering stomaching higher taxes to decrease the traffic. According to a Bay Area Council 2017 poll released Friday, residents view the traffic problem as an emergency that needs drastic solutions. Michael Cunningham stated, "Traffic has never been this bad." And the Bay Area Council has enough support to encourage the push for higher taxes in the region to address traffic, and the poll that was taken shows that there might be enough support to surpass the 2/3 voter approval threshold for boosting various types of taxes. Its top priority today is supporting a plan by Governor Jerry Brown to fix California's roads and bridges. Cunningham said, "The governor's proposal would increase gasoline taxes and vehicle fees in order to raise $52 billion over 10 years, the largest such increase in state history."
Chlorpyrifos is a pesticide that is used primarily on walnut, almond, and orange crops and applied through an aerosol. Since 2010, an annual average of 27,708 pounds of the substance were applied in Monterey County alone. The pesticide has been banned for home use since 2000 by the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, which cited health concerns. Chlorpyrifos, an organophosphate, is a neurotoxin which can cause neurological harm, respiratory damage, and developmental delays. The aerosol application of the pesticide means large quantities of it can drift into residential districts and schools. The EPA had intended to ban the substance for all uses, announcing its intentions on November 9, 2016, with the ban to be officially announced on March 31st. Of 2017. However, on the 29th of March this year, the EPA reversed its prior decision and scrapped the plan to implement a ban. The shift into the new presidential administration, with Scott Pruitt leading the EPA, is considered the key reason for this reversal. Now, agricultural and farm worker communities across California are calling for Governor Jerry Brown and the state legislature to enforce a statewide ban on the pesticide.
Plans for a wildlife tunnel under Laurel Curve of Highway 17 are underway, with construction expected to begin in 2020. With 57,000 vehicles passing through a day, almost half of the wildlife killed on Highway 17 are hit at Laurel Curve. It is an important wildlife corridor linking the Loch Lomond watershed to the forest of Nisene Mark State Park. Terry Corwin, the executive director of the Land Trust of Santa Cruz County, explains why deer, foxes, bobcats, skunks, raccoons, and most especially the mountain lion need this corridor.
In our conservation blueprint, we gathered a lot of data about wildlife movement. What we discovered is, in order for wildlife to be healthy, especially the larger animals, they require huge patches of land where they can do all their most intimate mating and taking care of their babies. Then they need to disperse. And so they need safe corridors in which to disperse from one patch to another patch, and basically from one tribe to another tribe. And that's what keeps the gene pools healthy. Highway 17 is like the Great Wall of China.
Surrounding property has been secured, designing and engineering is being discussed, and all that is left is securing funding so that construction can begin. Measure D, or the transportation measure, included funding for the corridor. The estimated cost of the tunnel is $11 to $15 million. Corwin speaks on how Caltrans stepped in.
We started working with Caltrans and said, this is where we think the animals are crossing, and then we just started beefing up our data by getting some of their information. Caltrans has roadkill data, and the data makes it very clear that's where the animals are dying. So we've got the Puma Project's data, we've got the Caltrans roadkill data, and then we hired some wildlife experts, and everything just points right to Laurel Curve. So we had what we needed to make the case to Caltrans, and this fall, Caltrans has allocated $3.1 million to design the tunnel.
On Tuesday night, the Santa Cruz City Council heard a resolution to proclaim the City of Santa Cruz's support for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe's opposition to the construction and use of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Dakota Access Pipeline is an oil pipeline transporting fracked crude oil from North Dakota to Illinois. The pipeline passes through the Standing Rock Indian Reservation and crosses essential drinking and agricultural water sources, as well as would disturb and destroy some indigenous cultural and spiritual sites, including burial grounds. During the public comment section of the Tuesday, April 4th meeting, no public commenters stated any opposition to the resolution. And we'll listen now to some of the public commentaries from that April 4th meeting.
Honorable council members and Mayor Chase, we thank you for the opportunity to speak today in support of the City of Santa Cruz's resolution regarding the Dakota Access Pipeline. Good day. My name is Valentin Lopez, and I am the chairman of the Ama Mutsun Tribal Band. Our tribe is comprised of the documented descendants of the indigenous peoples taken to Mission San Juan Bautista and Mission Santa Cruz. Our ancestors understood their responsibility to ensure healthy water, land, flora, and fauna, and clean water. Without these things, there is no life. The indigenous knowledge, spirituality, and cultural values learned and practiced by our ancestors for 800 generations or more should guide the stewardships of our land today. Today, the actions of the corporations involved in the Dakota Access Pipeline project are sinful. These corporations are intentionally destroying the environment and cultural resources of the citizens of Standing Rock Sioux Nation. These corporations and law enforcement agencies are also treating those who are defending the environment, including sacred water, in a brutal and inhumane way. The inhumane and immoral campaign to dominate indigenous people and their environments, cultures, and spirituality pervades American history and continues to this day. As evidence, the original pipeline of the Dakota Access Pipeline was to be routed north to Bismarck, a community the court document reported was comprised of a population that is 96% white. When the Bismarck community objected to the pipeline being routed through their territory, the alignment was moved south so that it would run a half-mile upstream under the Lake Oahe Reservoir of the Standing Rock Reservation. The banks and investors who are funding the Dakota Access Pipeline have no morality. And we're extremely happy to see that you are willing to take a stand on this issue. Banks and investors will only change their behavior when it becomes apparent that they can no longer afford to make a profit from destroying and dominating Mother Earth.
Water is the one thing that we all have concern about, the elements of creation. This one very vital element of water that none of us can live without. And so think of your children as you do this water, because this water is that important. It's our future, and so are our children. So we need to stand for those reasons. We do not want to leave our children a toxic world. We don't want to leave them something that they have to work so hard to clean up. That's our job.
As a member of the divestment team, a coalition has come together to get this city to divest from fossil fuels, and this resolution before you is the first step in that really important movement.
What we're asking is that we who live here in Santa Cruz, who acknowledge that we're all related, that we take an action here, along with other people, that has a ripple effect. We all in this room know we don't need oil. We all know there are alternatives.
Being Native and one of the cultural values is that we are always thinking that far ahead. So it's not just my children, my grandchild, it is mine, yours, all people. We should be thinking in those generations ahead.
After the time for public comment was over, the resolution was passed to the Santa Cruz City Council.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. It passes unanimously.
I'm Ty Goering.
I'm Maelin Rose.
I'm Sydney Fishman for KZSC News, local news for the Monterey Bay.